Chapter 2. Siegfried. Down the Rhine, in the splendid far-famed city of Xanten, in the Netherlands, there grew up a royal prince, a gallant knight named Siegfried, son of Sigmund and Sieglind. Fired by his courage, he tried the mettle of many kingdoms, and rode through many lands to put his strength to the test. Later, in Burgundy, he was to meet a host of valiant knights. Of his best days when he was young, marvels could be told of the honors that occurred to him, and of his handsome looks, so that women of great beauty came to love him. He was reared with all the care that befitted his high station, and acquired many fine qualities of his own. It gave luster to his father's kingdom that he was found altogether so distinguished. He had now grown up sufficiently to ride to court, where many were glad to see him. Indeed, many ladies, both married and maidens, hoped he would always wish to come there, for, as Lord Siegfried was aware, no few were well disposed towards him. The young man was never allowed to go riding without escort. By Sigmund's and Sieglind's command, he was dressed in elegant clothes, and experienced men well versed in matters of honor had him in their charge, as a result of which he was able to win all hearts. He had grown to be strong enough to bear arms expertly, and he possessed in abundance all the needful qualities. As to the lovely women he wooed, he showed discernment, and they for their part would have done themselves high honor in loving fearless Siegfried. When the time was ripe, his father Sigmund had it made known to his vassals that he wished to hold a festivity in company with his dear friends, and the news was borne to other kingdoms. The king bestowed horses and fine clothes on native and stranger alike, and whenever there were noble squires of his line of an age to be knighted, they were invited to his country to take part in the festivity, and when the time came they received their swords in company with the prince. It was a magnificent feast, and well did Sigmund and Sieglind know how to win esteem with the lavish gifts they made, so that many people from other parts came riding to their country. 400 knights aspirant were to be attired with Siegfried, these many comely young ladies, wishing him well. Toiled busily, settling in gold brocade jewel upon jewel, which his custom required, they planned to work with silk and gold trimmings into the proud young warrior's clothes. Then at midsummer, when his son was knighted, the king commanded seats to be set for the valiant company, whereupon a host of noble squires and knights of high rank repaired to the minster. The older men did well to wait upon the novices as they had been waited upon at their own knighting. It passed the time agreeably for them, and they had hoped for pleasures to come. Mass was sung to the glory of God, and at once there was a great press where, in accordance with chivalric custom, the squires were to be knighted amid such splendor as can scarcely be seen again. They ran to where many chargers stood saddled, and the bohort in Sigmund's courtyard grew so tremendous that the palace thundered with the din which those spirited warriors made, while you could hear thrust on thrust by young and old, so that the shivering of shafts rang loud on the air, and you could see all these knights send the splinters flying far and wide before the hall, so zestfully did they set to. Their host asked them to make an end, and their mounts were led away. You could see many strong bosses, all broken, and precious stones had been torn from gleaming shield plates and strewn upon the grass, the work of mighty lance thrusts. When the king's guests went and sat where they were bidden, the profusion of rare dishes and excellent wine that were set before them in great abundance banished their fatigue. All honor was paid to both friends and strangers, and although they well amused themselves the livelong day, there were many strolling entertainers who, in their eagerness to earn the rich gifts to be had there, put all thought of rest aside, so that Sigmund's whole kingdom was gilded by their praises. And now the king commanded young Siegfried to bestow lands and castles in fee, as he himself had done when he was knighted, and Siegfried enfoffed his companies richly, so that they were well pleased with their journey there. The celebration had lasted for a week when, in honor of her son, Sieglind dispensed gifts of red gold in accordance with ancient custom, for she well knew how to win the people's favor for him. No wandering minstrel remained poor there. It rained horses and clothes, as though their donors had not a day to live. I cannot imagine that any royal household ever practiced such munificence. Those who had come to the festivity dispersed in grand style. Powerful nobles were afterwards heard to say that they would gladly have the young man for their lord, but handsome Siegfried did not want it. Sigmund's and Sieglind's beloved son did not wish to wear the crown, so long as both were alive. Yet as the valiant knight he aspired to domain, that he might ward off all the violence which he feared for his country.